For all those that have just recently joined, please go ahead and mute your microphones and turn your cameras off for the recording purposes. We will go ahead and take questions during this webinar. To do so, please go into the chat and you can write them there. I will either go ahead and answer them in the chat or give them to Jen to answer when she gets a break in the presentation. For those that are unfamiliar with Google Meet, typically your chat box is going to be a little dialog box down in the bottom right corner of your screen. If you're not doing so already, please go ahead and follow us on social media. We are on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Instagram. We have a lot of great content out there. I know Jen and I were talking about the Tips and Tricks Tuesday earlier, but besides that, we have a lot of great stuff, and it's just a great way of staying informed for amazing events like this. Speaking of amazing events like this, today we're going to talk about Read My Leaps, Power Up Your Communication with RecDesk. This is a webinar on everything communication that you can do with RecDesk. So what will we be talking about today? Emails, text, CRM Plus, and a lot of unique details and kernel cases with those. And then, of course, I think the reason about half of you are here is the app. So we're really excited to show you some of that today. I am Andrew, and I will be your moderator. I also have been trying to communicate with you about your extended warranty. I know we all get those emails and phone calls. And Jen is our presenter today. She's also our third leaping for the Leap Day this year. We both work on the customer care team, so a lot of you have talked to us either on the phone or email. So please keep coming to us with your questions. We love helping you out. And speaking of helping you out, if you need help with something else, maybe you're doing camp signups, you have some questions on that, or maybe you're getting ready for the pool opening, you have some questions on memberships. We're not going to have time, unfortunately, to answer that today, but that's why we have our support team for you. You can always email us at support@recdesk.com or give us a phone call at the number on your screen, and we'll be more than happy to help you out. On top of that, we have an amazing support center for you. It's the yellow button in the top right of your director side with a lot of great step-by-step guides on there. So with that being said, I am going to go ahead and turn this over to Jen to talk about some of the best ways to communicate with RecDesk. Jen, are you ready?
I am, Andrew. Thank you. All right, everyone. So we're going to go through like a start to finish when it comes to best ways to be able to contact your groups. And we're going to kind of go tab by tab a little bit so that we can just go through this practice. On your programs tab, the thing I love to remind you guys, especially as we're getting into these summer months, is from the roster itself, you do have the ability from roster actions to click email all participants either as a to or a BCC, or you have the option of text messaging them. Now I want to pause here for a moment just to bring something super silly up. Many of you may notice that if you have a large roster, maybe there's more than like 100 kids or roughly around there for your summer camp. If you go to email, your local email browser provider may not allow you to import that many emails at once. That's okay. Those limits are normal. All I want you to do is use this display copy, and you can just copy and paste all the email addresses from here into your either to or your BCC line from your own personal email. And that's, you're only going to notice that it doesn't work on those type of circumstances when you have some supersized rosters. The same can be said for text messaging. Now, text messaging right now is actually going to send an email through this particular site because I did not sign up for bulk text services. I know a few of you have brought this up, so I just want to do a reminder, as it's been a few years since we've discussed this. We do work with 2 third parties in order to bulk text message. The idea behind bulk text message is for those of you who want parents or participants to be able to text message back. So this way you could do a large text. They have some way of being able to respond to you. Please note that you just need to sign up for those third-party services and do those connections. In our support center, we have both names. It's Plevo and Twilio. You just have to choose between the two. And if you need any assistance to get that connected and get that started, let us know and we can go ahead and we can schedule that. Now, I am going to also do some super fun reminders. Anytime that you are on anything that has to do with like a roster or a list of our members, any of these filters, that you put in place. So if you're looking for certain grades of people, ages, or certain fee types that were selected, maybe your residents versus non-residents, or for those of you using flex registration, maybe it's just a specific date that needed to be selected. If that's the case, choose that date and apply your filters beforehand. The roster export will roster just that filtered list. So if you need a smaller group, that's the best way to do it. Also, please keep in mind when you are doing this, it is going to strip away duplicates. So if a parent has multiple kids, you might see less emails than the number of people due to situations like that. Now, right now, I do not have anybody on my waitlist tab, but I will let everyone know waitlist has the same capabilities. From the waitlist on a program, you can email everyone or you can text message everyone. This is one of those that's going to be an up to you situation for whichever way your organization likes to reach out. Now, before I move on to memberships, do we have any questions?
Not at this time, Jen, but if you guys do have any questions, please go ahead and type them in the chat. And when we get to breaks like this, we'll answer them there, or I'll either answer them in the chat for you. Back to you, Jen.
Thank you, Andrew. Now, memberships, I'm going to get laughed at, pure and simply because outside of my example site that has nice teeny tiny numbers for memberships, most of you are probably dealing with several hundred people within those memberships. So I'm just going to point out that this piece of the system does still have the ability under list actions for you to email everyone or text message. But with your memberships in particular, the ones that may be large, remember that your email provider might do some type of block for you. And if that's the case, switch the display copy email address if you want it to come from your provider. And some of you may be catching on to what I'm saying. Don't worry, we're going to get there soon. There's a reason why your local email provider is a very big difference from those of you who are going to use the bulk email piece of our system. But I just wanted to clarify the difference. I'll come back to it if more questions come in, because I have a feeling that leagues, all the first three tabs we're going to go over aren't going to be as big of a question area so much as we get into the later part. For leagues, though, the big thing I want to just point out to everybody, there's two different ways you can do this. If you need to reach the whole league from the league info tab, this is where you reach out to them. But if you just need to email a specific team, go to that specific team so that you can email just that group. Now I'm going to go to the members tab next, because our bulk email campaign is by far one of the biggest tools that many of you utilize to be able to reach your public. And we want you to be able to take advantage of it and be able to do more with this. So I'm going to click into here. Please know my campaign is not built. Hey, Andrew, would you mind getting me connected just so I can do a test one?
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you.
Is the name of your site you're using training?
Yeah.
Yep. Just give me a moment and we'll get you up and running.
No worries. I'm going to take my time on this one because this is a big area to go over. Now, bulk emails is an area that we get by far the most questions. So we're going to go over this, and we're going to go over this a little on the slower side. Campaign name is a required field. This is internal naming. We don't care how you name it. It just has to be whatever helps you and your staff know that that's why you sent that campaign. The subject line could be completely different. It could be about summer camp. Or it could be about, after school care. I do know some groups have already told me that starting tomorrow, they have registrations for their after school care for 24-25 school year. Seems very early to me, but it's okay. And you can pre-schedule these email campaigns. So see how it sends immediately or is scheduled for later? Send immediately is one of those options. It's great when it's notification you need out right away. So pools, I know you guys use it all the time to be able to say, hey, the pools are closed right now due to some maintenance issue. So that's great for the schedule immediately. Scheduled for later, This is good for a situation where you want to make sure that they get some type of notification on St. Patrick's Day. So you can set that up for the schedule date, for the time. Now, selecting the recipients is something that we're going to go over. This piece has so many abilities, and it's little, it's one of those pieces of the system that you kind of have to figure out who you want to reach out to. Because if you hit apply search, this is just going to pull up all the members that are in your system. Yes, I know I only have 17 members. It's okay. Or if you wanted to just reach a certain family, you can go by last name. I mean, there's a couple of ways here, but my favorite filters to go over are for those of you who do birthday announcements. If you're looking to say happy birthday to everyone born in the month of January, go ahead and set your birthday announcements up this way for the next month by choosing that birthday, apply search. And if any member has a birthday in that month, they're going to be filtered here. But most of you are going to be using this for program or membership enrollment filters. So see here, if I type in the word punch pass, I want to see who in my system has ever had a punch pass. And those are the members I want to reach out to. So there we go. I have the 3 different profiles. Keep in mind, this is a demo site, everyone. So for those of you wondering why the numbers are so small, these are completely fake scenarios. You can do the same thing though for programs. So if I clear this, let me use escape. And I want it to be a program that happened before this year. So this is a filter right here. So if I'm looking for people that did like summer camp last year, I could say that the program was running, May 1st, 2023, use the word camp because or summer camp because those 2 words are part of my programs from last year, and apply search. Now in this example, I only happen to have 1 member. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger and go back to my punch pass though, just so it's a few more people. Recipient list actions is something that you're going to want to pay attention to because this is either going to email primary email addresses or primary and alternate email addresses. If you're dealing with a lot of children, we do tend to recommend that alternate email address gets emailed as well. That way, if there's 2 parents and 1 parent is the alternate email, it just goes to both. But a big thing to keep in mind, well, this says 3 people, even with choosing this option, I only have 1 unique email address that's being used. That happened to be the same household. So they all shared the same email address, which is why. So that's something to just be aware of. I promise the system is just removing duplicates for you though, and it's not something that you need to worry about. And now we're going to get on to a fun part for using the bulk email piece. Many of you right now know that this is a little bit of a limited piece of the system because you can type anything. Anything you want to type here, word-wise, you can go ahead and type it out. If you do paste, we do prefer you paste as plain text. So for those of you who like to just do the Control V, if you add a shift to it, it's just going to strip away any preemptive formatting so it's nice and clean. This is where you're going to want to do your bold, your underline, any of the format changes, colored text changes, things like that. Now, we do understand that there are many of you who want to send images via this way as well. To do so, there are 2 options that I'm going to be able to provide. Both will require you click into this HTML tab though. Flickr is the first option. Now I know some of you have had issues with it in the past and I'm truly sorry. But I am going to use this as my example. So if you have Flickr, Flickr happens to have an embed code that does work in our system. So you just click in, copy. As you can see, you can decide to change sizes and do a couple of things here. And then paste that right here. I go into preview, I'm going to be able to see my image right there. Now, Flickr is one that we also know that when you use the embed code from it, the email will be received by the member and it will also be a visible image. Now, for those of you who have issues with Flickr, we did hear you. Unfortunately, iframes do not work in this piece of the system. So those of you who use Canva, I love it just as much as you do. I promise. Canva cannot be posted in the bulk email. They've made some changes. They now use iframes. Instead, my coworker Andrew and I, we got together and we created this awesome little template to make it as simple as possible for you to just do a photo. You will need to have this sent to you. Please know it is also, we're also going to link it in our support center if we have not already. So for those of you who are looking for how do I get an embed code, that's where it will be posted under our support center. But for post image, you just want to find your image locally. Give it one moment. Please know you can do multiple images at the same time. And you see right here on step 2, see how it says direct link? I know that might sound silly, but technically these are 2 different URLs. So the second one down is the one I want to copy. And I want to paste that right here into the image. Now for me, I want this picture to fill the page left to right. So I'm going to make the width 100%. That did not. Actually, just going to leave the width out right this minute because I didn't like how that looked. But now all I need to do is copy that and paste my text here. And see right here in my preview, I can see my image. And this image will open in an email preview as well.
Just a reminder, Jen, on that document, the width is in pixels, not percentages.
That's why I messed up. I'm
Yep.
so sorry. Andrew is correct. See how right here it's in pixels? He did do nice, easy math for everybody too. About 1 inch on the screen is 96 pixels. So just pick a size here, or if you just want to let it be whatever the photo automatically sizes to, like I'm allowing right now, you can do that as well. And as a reminder, always, always, always send yourself a test email. Because in case you accidentally posted something in there or hyperlinked something naughty, you're able to stop that before it goes out to the public by sending yourself a test email and clicking on all the links and making sure that it looks good. Now, before I move on to the other parts of our system for communication, do we have any questions about this? I know that this is a very new, simple uploader. So this is something that many of you may not be aware of.
Yes, we do have quite a few questions then, Jen. Thank you. Just as a reminder, if you guys have any questions, please go ahead and post them in the chat, and we'll be happy to answer them at breaks like this, or I'll try to go ahead and answer them in between. A couple of questions for you, Jen. Did you show how to use a code from Canva and what to do with that image from Canva?
Unfortunately, Canva cannot be used in bulk emails. I can show you where Canva code will work, but just know it is not here.
Yep. So for Canva, we recommend using post images instead.
When it comes to bulk emails, using post images and then the workflow that you created, Andrew, for this quick little step-by-step guide to copy and paste code, that is really the best practice. When it comes to Canva code is going to do best in places like on your facility, under image gallery embed code. And I believe some of it will work in description. However, a lot of you have really, really come to enjoy utilizing Canva as a header for, say, the top of a program your programs page in the community site or on your homepage so that you're able to change the banner for any information you'd like at any time you like, because that is a live feed. And I do know that Canva is becoming very popular for content management users as well. We are not going to go over content management today, but those of you using content management, Canva's code does work on the content management HTML tab. It's just in bulk emails, it will not.
Thank you, Jen. A couple other questions for you. When the patrons receive an email from bulk email, how does that show up in their inbox? Who is that from?
If we are the ones to set your bulk email up for you, and oh, I apologize, I did not bring this up. All of you who are here who are not using this feature that would like to, please email support@recdesk.com. You do get 20,000 per month automatically included as part of your membership. If you've already signed up to pay for more, please just exclude that count. That's just our generic phrasing for everybody else. You can pay if you'd like to have an increase to be able to send more, because you know that you do a lot of reach outs in your community. That's just a simple ask. Go ahead and send us an email so that we can let you know about that. But we set up your bulk email for you. If we set it up, the email would be no-reply@recdesk.net. And we do ask that you try to reach out to your customers and see if they can put these types of emails, any of those RecDesk emails, on their contact list. It just helps reduce us from going to spam. I'm sure all of you have accidentally hit an email on your own phone when you're checking your emails and accidentally marked it as spam just because you wanted to delete it fast. And unfortunately, a certain number of those will start to land us in people's spam boxes. So if you tell them what email to expect things to come from, that would be the safest. Now, if you have your own SendGrid account and you'd like to connect to your API, you can put whatever email address your organization would like it to come from.
Perfect.
Now,
Thank you. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, I am going to pause because we do have the auto@recdesk.com. Is auto@recdesk.com or no reply at recdesk.com now for the automatic emails?
I do not know that off the top of my head. I know it's no reply at recdesk.com for the bulk emails.
There's also auto@recdesk.com that your members should be aware of. Those emails, when I say the auto, those ones are the ones that automatically are being sent. So if some of you have questions about how certain emails come out, don't worry. I am going to go over an idea as to how many different automatic emails go out. And if you'd like to make changes, you just need to inform us. But this way you get an idea as to when they're being sent.
Awesome. Thank you, Jen. We did have a question about automated options for mass communication. And while there's no way to 100% automate it, we can do a delayed sending. So you can set up in advance. Jen, could you share us how you would do a delayed send?
Of course. After you get your campaign built and you selected your recipients, what you would do is right here under the schedule time, click the schedule for later, pick whatever day, and you can also pick what time. So if you don't want it to go out first thing in the morning, you need it to go out at like noon. That's what you need to set it for. Please know this is going to go to your local time. So I'm East Coast, so this would go 12 p.m. Eastern Standard. If your system's sent to Central, it's just going to go for your time zone.
Perfect. Thank you, Jen. All righty. I think we got to all of our questions. If I missed your question, I do apologize. Please just go ahead and post in the chat. I do see we have a couple of raised hands. Go ahead and just post those questions in the chat, though, and we will do our best to answer those. Oh, we got a question about adding attachments. So we don't have a way of adding attachments per se, but what we do instead is, like Jen was showing us with the images, using post images, and then hyperlinking as well. Especially if you have a Firms tab, that's a great way of putting on PDFs, and then we can hyperlink to it.
Yep, you just post the URL right. Any copy a URL that works. You just post the URL right there that you want them to be able to click on to have it go to. Please note that in this hyperlink area, we also have a mail to option. So if you're sending an email and it's, I always pick on tennis, sorry, tennis. And it's saying, here are the tennis, tennis lessons are coming up. It's becoming tennis season. Please reach out to the tennis instructor if you'd like to have private lessons. You can make that email address clickable by highlighting it and then typing the email again. This will make it so that when they click on it, it automatically triggers an email to that person.
Thank you, Jen. And then also, just as a reminder, if using post images, please use that direct link, everybody. I know they have like about 6 or 7 links, and the direct link is the one that works with all of our things. And we do put that in the little helpful documents we give you as well.
Awesome. Now, before I get into some of the invoicing type of mass contact, because invoices are another topic that a lot of you bring up for how best to do in mass or one person at a time, or how best to communicate. Before I get into this piece, I just want to go over the fact that, as Andrew brought up earlier, a lot of the system does automatically email the customers. And there's a lot of reasons why those triggers are happening. So I just kind of wanted to go over a list in case anybody had any questions. And also so that you get an idea if you want to change something, what we may say and what we may need from you. When they sign up for a program or a membership, they're going to get 2 emails. One email is going to basically be some type of payment confirmation. We're assuming they're making payments online, so I'm assuming that email goes out. And the other is a registration confirmation email. That just explains which program they're in. It'll go, if the schedule is shown, it'll give them certain details about what they signed up for. The same thing applies for their memberships. Now, reservations, they also get 2 emails. However, one of them is called a reservation confirmation. Now, for those of you who use the reservation piece of our system, you notice that there's always a little checkbox whenever you edit a reservation to send them another confirmation email. That email essentially looks like a permit now because it does provide every single, provides a list of the dates and the times and any add-ons that that member may be using for that particular facility reservation. They're also going to get a profile when they make a profile. So the first time that they create one, they get a welcome email. We always send them a welcome email. That welcome email includes a reminder of what their login ID is and some other little basic information. Andrew, my brain just went out. What other ones do we have that we should make? Oh,
I was in the chat answering questions.
Oh, no worries. We also have automatic renewal emails. So for your memberships, if any of you are like a gym or something like that, where you do month to month and they automatically renew month to month, we have emails for that. We also have the ability for you to turn on an email to automatically let somebody know their membership is getting ready to expire. For rentals, we also have approvals and declines because we do have an approval process. So some of these, as you can tell, they're very they're very much the automatic emails. But many of you have always asked, do you send them? When do you send them? It's usually being 100% of the time, those automatic emails are being sent out whenever somebody signs up on the community end. On director end, if a member says, I didn't get my invoice email, please keep in mind that that means that staff, if they signed them up internally, missed that last step of hitting that button that says send invoice to customer, pay later. That way the customer had an email for that invoice. It does not automatically send if you do not click that button. I just wanted to pause for that reminder. I know that's been an odd topic of conversation lately. I just wanted to get into it a bit before I got into sending out emails or your invoices. because I know a lot of you, we're now in 2024. If you've got open invoices for 2023 or previous, you want to be able to clear those out. Some of you, you might actually have people that are genuinely overdue, or you might accidentally have some invoices from like canceled reservations that they don't owe money for, or other circumstances like that, that the invoice just needs to be closed. But here you have multiple options. You can check the box off to email all of the invoices at once by sending select. This is going to pull in here. This is called a token. It's pulling in the invoice number, the member's first name, and invoice link. We do ask that if you're looking for them to pay, please leave this particular area completely alone. It is going to pull their unique invoice link. If you try to change this, you may accidentally send them somebody else's invoice link instead, or disconnect that link. So try to just focus on this middle area being the spot that you're going to change, or adding more information down at the bottom. If you need to send it individually, just click on the invoice itself, and under Actions, you have Send Invoice to Customer. And it's the same situation. It's going to automatically pull in the profile's first name, the invoice number here, and this invoice link. Again, we don't mind you changing any of the information here. In fact, if you have specific verbiage that you need to show on all these invoices, just let us know and we can get that updated for you. Please don't do it in the chat though, for Andrew's sake. Please email us, support@recdesk.com. And that way, this go to invoice link will still work for your members, but we can attach additional verbiage in the middle for you. And as a reminder, Invoice List has a whole bunch of awesome filters. These filters are not necessarily just for communication, but I just like to point out that we do have all these filters in case anyone has not had a chance to take advantage of them before. All right, Andrew, I've got one last area of reach out before we get into the super duper fun part.
All right. I have a question for you, Jen.
Yes.
Can you show us how people can see if somebody has opened an invoice that was sent via email?
We're going to manipulate this for a moment because right now, none of my invoices on this training site have been open. There we go. Sorry, everyone, I just had to trigger something there. So after an invoice has been opened from the email link, you're going to see this little person that'll pop up next to them. And if you hover over it, you'll see that it was opened by the customer. You'll see the day and the time.
Yes, and that's the best way to see if that invoice email was sent and received. And then Jen, does RecDesk continue to send invoice due reminders until they have paid it? It's just the one, correct?
RecDesk does not automatically send out funds are due emails unless it's a payment plan where you have it set up to email them to let them know a payment is due. Now, here's the thing and the catch to that. If they're on a payment plan, and let's just say they're on an automatic payment because you guys are allowed to store credit cards, all that good stuff. If a payment does not successfully go through, it does not notify the member. So please keep that in mind because auto pay history is one of those great areas that if you are automatically charging members to be able to check out, because you want to make sure that you focus on anything that has failed. And I don't think I have any payments made in this system that's automatic. So I don't know if I'll have anything pop up there.
All right, as some of you have noted too, there does seem to be an issue with request for that Google Sheet. So we'll work on that and get you guys a copy here in a moment.
Do we have any other questions though that are coming in?
I believe we are all caught up for the moment, Jen.
Awesome. All right, there's one last area that I want to go over for just a reminder because we're heading into sports season. Yes, I know. I'm a coach. I have a little too much fun with this. Please keep in mind that this piece of the system is the personnel volunteer list. This is that list of anybody that you have assigned to be a coach, meaning you've assigned them to a team or to a league under the leagues tab, or an instructor, meaning you've assigned them to a program. This area has a whole bunch of super fun filters, but also a great reminder that you can email everybody or text message everybody as new seasons are coming up. And right now, this system does not have tags, so I am going to go under my Manage Custom Lists because I want you to know under Manage Custom Lists and Manage Tags, you can add ways to filter members or personnel volunteers. So for those who maybe have vendors that you are trying to track on your members list, but they're not signed up for specific programs or anything specific, you can tag them that way. And that helps you to be able to filter a bulk email by just that tag. You can also tag personnel volunteers by what sport they coach. So if you tag everybody as you're going through from year to year, if this particular instructor is tagged, this is how easy it is to tag them, as being a softball coach, then when I run a search for my softball coaches, I'll be able to get just that. And that way I can reach out to my softball coaches and say, hey, season's coming up. Who would like to be a coach again this year? All right, we're getting very, very close to time for the app discussion. We're going to go over one last thing called CRM Plus. Are we ready, Andrew, or do we have any other questions that you'd like me to pause for?
We are ready, Jen.
Okay. So CRM Plus is something many of you have seen. It exists across our system. You can assign it to, you can either do a note, add a document, or assign tasks. And this is found on so many different levels. So anytime you see CRM Plus on program info, on the person's roster, on a on the specific person or an invoice or on a payment, you can go ahead and you can click in. Now, this is important because this is going to be a really big feature for the app. You can do notes and mention your coworker and say, please get this room ready. On a certain day and time. Now, by mentioning my coworker and saving, that's actually going to email my coworker and say this particular message for this program. For tasks, this is an even cooler thing. I can assign tasks instead. I can notify them by email, and I can set the date. Now, this piece, when you are logged in as that user, you'll be able to find all of your CRM tasks that have been assigned to you under your dashboard and on the CRM Plus tab. And now we just have to give me one moment to do share screen on my phone so that I can show you all the new app. Here is the first preview of the app. Now, please know this is one of our load demo sites. So obviously it looks like we are owed a lot of money. This is all fake data, everyone. So if you'd like to laugh along the way, please do. But some things I just want to show you. As you can see, this is similar to your dashboard. You're going to be able to quickly see any of your recent registrations, recent reservations, memberships, or member profiles that are created. Now I'm going to pop into CRM Plus because this is going to be that awesome area for the CRM Plus piece that I just showed you. It's going to show you all of those tasks that you've been assigned. And yes, you are going to be able to check that task off and mark it as complete. Now, if you accidentally do that, you saw the mark is pending. So don't worry, if you accidentally check something off, you can fix it. You can also switch over to your notes and see any notes that have been submitted back and forth. Your calendar is going to be everything that is going on for your organization, but don't worry, we've got all of our filters. They're just found up here in that little filter bar. So this area is going to be so great for all of the apps, for all of your maintenance users. Please keep in mind this whole piece does still filter down and work. So if they need to filter to just see certain types of facilities or certain facilities, you see how easy it is to be able to do these filters. And if it's just, say, leagues that they're dealing with right now, you can just change it to leagues. I don't think I have anything. I think we just have reservations coming up. And then for your search function, the search function is going to let you be able to find your members. So if you're looking for someone, maybe you need to get a hold of somebody for an issue. Here on the app, as you can see, super easy. And the text message piece does not function in this particular, does not show here, but this is how awesome it's going to be. You're going to be able to come in here, click on things, be able to make phone calls, assign yourself tasks or assign a coworker tasks because something might not be correct with the profile. You might need them to do things, but this is pretty much how you're going to be able to filter through and see all of your activities. I am going to be clear, what you are looking at right now is a demo version of this because we do still technically have it in testing. We do have some of our customers who are probably here today. You are going to be our first customers using this site, meaning you are going to be the ones that will see this first. Please note that this is going to be released to iPhones first, and this is an initial release. So this is just our first the first instance of how this app is going to function. And for those of you who are joining us here today for this, I do also want to just point out as a thank you to our developers. We only have 3 of you guys. They have been awesome in getting this app developed and released while still doing those other awesome features for you all and helping with any other issues that come up along the way. Now, if you are interested in the app, I promise that it is going to be a bigger release to everyone. But does anyone have any other questions for me? I can share my screen again. I'm not sure why that stopped.
Jen, here's a good question for you. Is the app included or is there an additional fee for the app?
There is no fee for you guys to be able to utilize the app, but please know this is just a director end app. This is not for the community members. This is for you, the ones who are using the director side. Community functions so well within browsers on mobile phones that it's designed for the directors. Now, if you do have members of the public that either want an app or say things like, I want a shortcut to it, there is the ability for when they go onto the web browser and go to your particular community site, you can actually save it to your home screen, kind of like anyone who's done a shortcut on your computer and had it saved to your home page. That's exactly the case here. That's what many members, what most of our customers are doing with their community members or suggesting to their community members.
Thank you. Brent is asking if there's a limit on the number of directors that have access to the app. There is no limit, just like you can have multiple directors on your RecDesk.
The only limit is that point of sale users, your point of sale cashiers, your point of sale shift manager, and your check-in only. I don't know if I'm missing anyone else. Those 3 user roles will not have access to the app, as those 3 functionalities are not part of the app at this time.
Thank you, Jen. And do we have a timetable on the app at this point? Or is it just still in testing and we will release that once we get through testing?
I think the plan is within the next, I apologize, everyone. Our head developer is actually going away tomorrow, so he is going to be out of the office, which means that I think early next week is when we're going to probably start releasing it to our customers who are going to be the first release, the first access. So shortly thereafter would be my guess, within a month. Would probably be a safe bet to say.
And it will be released on Apple first, but it will have an Android version down.
Yes. I'm sorry, all of you Android users. It is going on iPhones first. Do we have any other questions? I can also stop sharing the app view itself if anybody has questions that are related not to the app itself, but to something else that we discussed.
Yeah, so we have about 5 more minutes here. Jen and I are going to stay in the room and answer any questions on communication that comes up. If you guys have any questions, anything else, please email the support@recdesk.com email address.
Yes.
Jen, actually, this is a good question. Where can they find the recording?
I actually saw that question pop up, so I just wanted to do a reminder to everybody. If you didn't catch everything, you got a phone call or something like that, the recordings are usually available by the next morning on our YouTube channel. However, we also post it. Let me actually switch back to sharing my computer screen. We also post them right here under our resources. We try to get them posted under resources and under PowerUp videos right here. Now, as a reminder to anybody, this resource area is a great area to check out if you've never noticed it before. And I promise a lot of people have not noticed it before. This is a great area for you to be able to quickly train your front end staff. For those who are coming in new as new directors or helping you build, this is an online training process that they can go through. Content management videos are also available here. Quick access to our YouTube channel. Some awesome, helpful workflows that I know many of you come across are listed right here as well, on top of past PowerUp videos. And always check out our latest release notes, because we do release a lot of items, and sometimes you may be looking for something, but we may have forgotten to put your name down as those requesting. So something may have come out that you really, really wanted, and you just need to check out this list and you'll be able to see all the stuff we're doing.
Thank you, Jen. And could you repeat what you said about the different user levers using the app? I think we had a question come in after that.
Yes, and I apologize, everyone. I'm going to go in here real fast just so that I can show the user roles and my brain will remember this. Okay. These 3, your point of sale cashier, check-in attendants, and your point of sale shift managers. Those 3 user roles will not have access to the app at this time. At this time, the app does not have items for point of sale, so that's the reason we don't have them in there. And for the check-in attendants, they're only using the check-in process, which is another reason why that is not, they are not eligible to use the app at this time. So it's your view calendar only users. So if you're giving that role to your field maintenance people or your building maintenance people, they can absolutely still view the app so that they have access to the calendar. View only associates, assistant directors, and directors also have access.
Thank you, Jen. Also, I've just been notified that when the app is released, it will not actually be for iPads at that time. That may be something that comes in the future, but when it's released, it'll be for iPhones only.
I bet iPad changed something, so it requires just a little bit different coding.
Yes. All right. So a couple of questions that came in, I'm just gonna go ahead and answer them out loud at the moment. I have Douglas asking about if the app's going to be for the public or for staff. It's going to be for staff only. If you have any questions on the public creating their accounts there, please email us at support@recdesk.com. We'll be happy to help you out with that. As far as bulk emails, I would have to look into your individual agency to see how many bulk emails you have. If you want to email us at support@recdesk.com, we'll be happy to look into that for you and let you know how many emails you have. And we can also tell how many you have remaining as well. And then we do have a question about assigning maintenance. If you could elaborate on that, we would be happy to answer that for you here in the next minute or two.
I think I know what that person is saying. So, because they don't, if they have not already, a lot of groups tell us that they're going to the Flex calendar and they're exporting information to be able to give to their maintenance groups. Sometimes you have field maintenance groups who are the ones that are responsible for, mowing the grass, drawing the lines in the field, setting up the soccer nets and things like that. So those groups, some of you are just exporting it and sending it to them so that they have a list of everything that's going on. That's perfectly fine. But I know that some of those guys, they like to be able to have information be a little bit more fluid. So like if it's a field maintenance person, if they checked on their phone because, hey, some new things came in, they're aware of it. They're able to just get that on the go. Sometimes they also call like pavilion maintenance people, field maintenance people at different organizations. So I think I'm just generalizing maintenance as maintenance.
Sounds good. Thank you, Jen. And we are at our time limit for today. So I want to go ahead and thank everybody for joining us today. I do think that we had some record-setting numbers today, so it's very exciting. Thank you for being part of that. If we did not get to your question, or if you have questions specific to your agency, please go ahead and email us at support@recdesk.com. I'm going to go ahead and put that in the chat, and we will be happy to answer them there. Jen, any parting words here?
No, thank you all for joining us today, and I hope everyone has a great rest of their day.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, everyone. Have a great rest of your day.